It's your girl, Claudia Jordan. I am back with TGIF. All right, y'all, we're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. So sit back, relax, and get ready to sip on this hot tea. Please welcome Al Reynolds. Hey, Al.
Hey, Claudia.
We're going to get into your outfit in just a second. And our special guest host for the week, Carolina Sanchez. Hello, Carolina. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Do people call you Carolina sometimes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. They call me that often, and I correct them often.
Carolina.
I don't have to deal with them much, and then it's like, all right, call me whatever. It's okay.
Okay. All right. How's everybody feeling today? Y'all feeling good?
Thank goodness it's Friday. You know, I'm super excited because it's my Founders Day. So I'm going to always be in a good mood on the Founders Day of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
How old is that jacket, Al?
Do you know, Claudia, you're so funny. Look, I pledged fall 93. This jacket is 30 plus years old. And it's so funny because I got the jacket when I crossed from my pole mark, who was Joe Finley, who was my mentor all my days growing up. He was a school principal in the town that I worked in. And if you look at this picture right here, this picture is super significant. I've done some things in my days. This particular picture, if you can go back to the picture of the guy's production that I'm standing in the middle right there. This is a very special picture to me. I was the university advisor to this chapter in at Florida Memorial University when I was a professor there. This is called the Mothership of the South chapter. They are the first undergraduate chapter in South Florida. They were founded April 30th, 1966. That's the Epsilon Mu chapter. Guys, thank you so much for trusting me to advise you when I was there. It meant the world to me that they chose me because they were the first undergraduate chapter in the state of Florida. I pledged in fall 93, as I said. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We're all about achievement and leadership. And other notables in the fraternity that some of you guys may know is Colin Kaepernick. Oh, we always doing big things. John Singleton, leader in film and television. Kaepernick, leader in sports. Lance Bass, Lance, what's Lance's name?
Gross.
Yeah, Lance Gross, leader in television. Who else you might know? Marvin Sapp, leader in gospel singing. These are some of the notable members of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I salute all of you. And look, one of my younger, our producer was getting on me because I have double nail on. I only did that because you can't see all of this, but you can see this. So
all right. Well, congrats. Do you say congrats or just happy Founders Day?
Happy Founders Day.
I know nothing
I'll
about
take anything. I'll take it all.
All right. All right. Well, Carolina, you're back with us. So we will get into the show and have some fun. But before we I'm sorry, never mind. We already spent our time with that, wishing you a happy Founders Day. All right, Carolina, any plans for this weekend?
No, I think I'm finally going to relax because I've been going through December, and we're finally first week of January, kind of get my life in order, start making those meals, prepping, and hopefully relax.
And you picked a hell of a year to start off with no alcohol and be dry because we have a lot of drama going on. So let's go ahead and get into the show and start talking. Gypsy Rose Blanchard clapped back at people who are hating on her husband. She wrote, "Ryan, don't listen to the haters. I love you and you love me. We do not owe anyone anything. Besides, they're jealous because you are rocking my world every night." Yeah, I said it. The bleep is fire. Her husband replied, "Who said I give a damn about what those jealous people say anyway? Now come get it, baby." Are they special?
No,
yeah, they are, right?
No, they're not special. I like this, Claudia. Don't joke them. That little girl's been through a lot, right? Carolina is going to share with us what it really is because I didn't know who Gypsy Rose was until Carolina shared it. But she just got out of prison. She's only been out for like what, maybe a week, right? Mm-hmm. So she and him are supposed to be having sex every day, and it's supposed to be good. So I'm here for this.
Right? Listen. It's giving it to you, sing his praises, but that's not the tea that I want. All right, for people who don't know who Gypsy Rose is, she is the woman who went to prison because she lured her her boyfriend, her online boyfriend, which turned out to be Ryan, to kill her mom. And the reason people are rooting for her despite this is because her mom had Munchausen syndrome, they believe, a disorder where by proxy you're giving false ailments, false like she claimed that her daughter had leukemia. She claimed that she had muscular dystrophy. It turned out she didn't have any of these things.
Oh, great. I feel like a jerk now.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't know, but she had her wheelchair bound, even though she could walk. She never had.
God, it gets worse.
That is horrible.
Her head. So one time she ran away with a boyfriend that she met. Her mom caught her, and then eventually, Gypsy had enough, and she was like, we're going to get done with mommy dearest, and she is gone. So everybody has been waiting for this day for her to be released from prison. But we want to know exactly what happened between her and Dee Dee is her mom's name. So that's what I want to know about. I don't need to know about Ryan's dick. I need to know about what went down between you and mama.
Now, did her mother make her so if she had leukemia, she had to be leukemia sick? If she had a different disease, she had to be that disease sick? Or
yeah,
was
but it was awful because she would take her to the doctors and the doctors just over medicated her. They even took out her salivary glands. They operated on her eyeballs. They took out her teeth.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, what she did to Gypsy is horrific. And I don't know how anyone wouldn't go to those extremes to get out of that situation.
Right.
There are no systems of checks and balances where we could just tell a doctor what it is and the doctor says, oh, okay, I get some symptoms can't show up, right? Like if you say your back hurts, there's no way they can prove my back doesn't really hurt, right? But to go as far as to operate on one's eyes without seeing a legitimate condition.
I mean, I think that the medications, because she was given so many medications early on, they also
probably did impair her
all
eyes,
of her. Yeah, they impaired her. Exactly.
They pulled her teeth too.
Yeah. Okay, well, I feel awful. Sorry. I was a bad picture. Sorry. Please forgive me.
See, can't judge a book by its cover.
But that's what we do on TJF.
Of course we do.
Always judge. Now
we're the best at that.
The Lord knows my heart. Okay. Amber Rose recently opened up about losing hope in love after her breakup with rapper Wiz Khalifa. Has heartbreak ever made you lose faith in finding love again? Let's go to you first, Al.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Like for me, it's just I don't like failing at anything, number one. And I definitely don't like failing at being in love. Like that is a huge blow for me, both to my ego and to my heart. So yeah, and then that's probably why I haven't dated seriously since my divorce, to be perfectly honest, because I don't want to have to learn a person all over again. I don't want to have to like Amber said on the Tamron show, I don't want to have to ask, how was your day? I don't want to ask how are you feeling? What do you want to eat? All of that takes a lot of mental toll and emotional toll on me. So I can get it. I had the opportunity to spend time with Amber and Wiz this past Halloween at Wiz's house. And one thing I can say about them is I see why she's heartbroken over Wiz Khalifa. The dude is just so fun. He's so engaging. He's a great dad. They do an awesome job of co-parenting their son together. And he also helps with her new kids. It's just like a fairy tale. If I was her, honestly, if I was her, I would feel some kind of way too, because I would actually feel like this is a good one that I let get away.
Were you very heartbroken when you got divorced? Were you okay, we're at peace with it? Were you crushed?
So I was at peace. I was at peace because I had done all I could do. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the ego part, I'm the youngest of 6 in my family. All my brothers and sisters have been married 30 plus years. So they've had very successful marriages if you look at it in terms of still being together. My parents were together for 40 plus years. So that was my measuring stick. Could I make it to that? Oh, no. But it still didn't stop me from being hurt that I didn't have the capacity or the ability to stay in it that long.
All right. Well, Carolina, you're the one here that's married. So did you ever, before you got to where you are, were you ever I give up?
No, I mean, I think during my bridal shower, I remember distinctly my aunts and my grandmother emphasizing that love isn't going to make your marriage last. Like, it is a commitment. You have to work at it. And in the beginning, I was like, hell no, like, we love each other, everything's great. But I'm going to say during this season of our life, especially with everything that I shared earlier this week, it ain't easy. It ain't for the faint of heart. And like Al, like, I definitely don't want to fail at this. And I feel like heartbreak just emphasizes all of it as well.
Right.
And I'm in the season of like working right now. Like, yes, I love him and I adore him and we fill each other's cups, but right now we're in a place where we're having very hard conversations and I'm forcing it on him because, like, either we're going to see this all the way through, burn the house down and figure it out, or, you know, otherwise what we're doing, right?
Like being transparent enough to share that with us here.
Yeah.
I'm a hopeless romantic, and I think this is why I keep getting burnt, but it's also why I keep trying love. Like, I will be devastated for a while. I just took a recent, almost a year off of having my feelings in anybody. But then I get over it and then I just jump right back in like I was never hurt before, which is good and bad. It's good because I'm still optimistic, but then I definitely still can easily get devastated again. But it doesn't, for some reason, maybe I'm stubborn or stupid, but it doesn't make me give up. It makes me, I still have that, like, it could still be, I still have a fairy tale.
You've been married, Claudia. Married? You've been married, right, Claudia? You've been married before. I
was married for less than a year. I filed for an annulment because it wasn't what I thought. He still was involved with someone. So like I was able to cite fraud as a reason. And it was very nasty. You know, we went from like talking on the phone till 4 a.m. where he kept telling me I'm his soulmate to not even being friends or even being cordial now. And it's like kind of like, you know, this hatred. Well,
right, but you know, that's how it goes. I hate to say it. I can relate to that, even though yours was in such a short span. You know, there was a point that you were in love. You were in love so much that you wanted to get married. And then it just turned, it took a turn. Like, that's kind of how it is in a marriage. Like, sometimes it takes a turn. One thing I have learned, and Carolina, I don't know if I can give you any advice, but I can give you the advice that my older brothers and sisters gave me. If you're really committed to the guy and you really love him, just understand that the turns are going to happen. You're going to be mad. You're going to think it's going to end. Like, if you really love the person, just push through. Just push through, because there's going to be another day that's not going to be like that. And then after a couple of years or a couple of months, it may go back to that, but you just keep pushing through, you know? So I don't know if that helps at all. I mean, just don't.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's so important to how you argue with someone. That's a question I asked early on. How are you when you're mad? It's easy to be sweet and handle each other with care when things are good, but how are you at your worst?
Yeah.
How are y'all? Do y'all walk away and take a beat, or do you guys confront it?
I'm probably like, Claudia, I'm gonna argue you down until
we gonna figure this out tonight, and no one's going to sleep until it's over. I'm not going to bed mad.
We're gonna talk this through until the sun comes up. No, but I've learned that you have to give that up too, like, to make peace. But anyway, I guess we got to move on.
We'll revisit this, I'm sure. Okay, on the topic of heartbreak, Kelly Clarkson's husband and former manager, Brandon Blackstock, allegedly told Kelly that she was not sexy enough to be on The Voice. Kelly ended up getting the gig and joined the show as a coach in 2018. What are your thoughts on spouses who try to hold their partners back from keeping them from success? Carolina, let's go to you on this.
My husband would not be my husband if that was the case. Absolutely not. That's why he's her ex-husband. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mind critiques and feedbacks from my husband. Like, if he's like, man, babe, like, I don't know if that dress is the right one, or hey, what are we doing? How can I help support you in your next moves? Because you've been slacking, you've been lazy. I appreciate things like that. But to hinder me and say that I am not Rihanna, therefore I'm not going to get a spot on The Voice when I have a voice like Kelly Clarkson, like, no, you ain't the one for me. No.
Mm-hmm. It's really mean. Al, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't think that's the case here, Claudia and Carolina. Unfortunately, although this is probably one of the biggest divorces, ugliest divorces in pop culture, that's not how it went down. So he used to manage her. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I can speak on this is because I used to manage my ex-wife. I managed her for years in our marriage. And what he actually said to her was what the agency said to him that he was pitching her to. So when you manage a talent like a Kelly Clarkson, you're on the phone all day, you're pitching, you are setting up stuff, you're talking to agents, you're talking to lawyers, you're talking to other managers, you're talking to heads of networks and all that. And so he actually only repeated what he was told at that time. And it wasn't to be on The Voice, it was to be a coach on The Voice. So, and he used the Rihanna example because that's what he was told by the agency. So I just want to be very clear. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I've been in that manager role for your wife, and it's a very intense role. And you have to sometimes have those ugly conversations with your talent who happens to be your wife. So she wanted this position, and he told her the pushback. The pushback, unfortunately, sweetheart, is that this is what they're saying. You're not the look that they're looking for. You're not the sex puss that they're looking for. In fact, at that time when she wanted to be on The Voice, they were looking for a black talent along the lines of, quote, a Rihanna. I've had these conversations in these situations over and over. It is ugly. It is a bad thing to say, but talent, and Claudia knows this, you want to know the why. Why didn't they choose me? Why won't they use me? And you know, at the end of the day, you have to let them know what the agencies are saying, and that's all he did. So in this particular case, I don't know all the other ugly things that he's done, but in this particular case, this is what happened.
Two things. I never knew you managed Star. How long did you do that for?
Our entire marriage.
Really? Okay. And secondly, so despite him telling her this, she still ended up working with the show.
Yeah, so it happened 4 years later. So it happened 4 years later, and the direction of the show obviously evolved. 4 years later, they weren't looking for a sex puss Rihanna type black woman. They were looking for a Kelly Clarkson type of woman at the time. So, and at that time is when she was booked. It didn't happen like a year later. In this particular case, if I'm not mistaken, if you read the documents, it happened 4 years later.
I think with good management, of course, you have to let your talent know what the whys are. But when you have the complexities of a relationship with someone, it's also your job to protect your partner's feelings. So delivering it in a way where it's not going to be devastating and crushing, because this business is all about confidence in yourself. And if you have in your head moving forward, not sexy, not sexy, not sexy, not popping, you're going to artists we're sensitive about our shit. You know what I mean? Like, you give us some, even if you say label as constructive criticism, it still hurts you and makes you a little bit paranoid.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
I think I was probably, to be honest, Claudia, I was probably the worst at that, because I was like, listen, I'm here to help you win. I mean, that's the reason why, A, we're married, and B, that's why I decided to take on this role. But at the end of the day, we do have to be realistic with each other so that we know what we got to do to pivot, to turn, to go to the next, and to still conquer this. Because for me as a manager, and just in life in general, I always want to win. So right. If that's having a tough conversation and saying, babe, we're going to turn this page because we got to go on to the next thing. Let's go on to the next thing. You know,
we got to.
Oh, yeah, we got to go to break.
We got to go on to the next commercial. But we have some more pay cuts. Okay, coming up next, the Republican National Committee is how they telling lies. And later, we're talking all things hygiene. Stay tuned and wash your ass. We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
We got a few new phrases the kids are out there saying, and I want you to tell us what you think they mean.
McMillan and Mara.
Donald Duckin.
I went to graduate school.
Every Thursday.
To avoid terms like this.
And this is what my life has come to.
All right, next one.
Cambridge.
Okay, Mr. Harvard, proxy beef.
Oh, I know what this is. This is when you don't have a problem directly with the person.
How did you know this?
Because I speak English. Proxy.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, y'all. The GOP claims that crime is out of control in Democratic-controlled cities. They blame the Black Lives Matter movement, the defund the police movement, cash bail reform, and President Biden for the rise. However, according to reports, this might not actually be true. Ooh, shocking. They're lying. U.S. homicides in many Democratic-controlled cities actually fell in 2023. What do you think about the GOP spreading false information? Because I've never heard of them doing that before, Al. What do you think?
It's freaking ridiculous. You know, the thing that really upsets me the most is how whenever anything is bad going on in the country as it relates to theft and crime and death, they always want to push it on the Black people. They always want to pick the cities where per capita, there are more Black people than anywhere else. And to me, I find that borderline disgusting. I find it renegade reporting. I think it's renegade politics. It's all lies. And people still fall for this crap. So in this particular case right here, this is an example of what the Biden-Harris administration has done positively. They have decreased the murder rates in all of our major cities. And who else should we applaud besides them? Now, if only they could work on these stealing people, these people stealing stuff, it would be a lot better. But in this case, we got to give the Biden-Harris administration exactly the praise that they deserve.
All right, Carolina.
I will say the crime rates are still a little high. I mean, they're down, but they're still high everywhere. I'm going to just point that out. But what's funny on that graphic, there's only one city where it went up, and that's Dallas, where you're at, Claudia. And isn't that where the mayor just switched parties from Democratic to Republican?
We have a Black Democratic mayor who did, I believe, right?
Parties.
And he switched parties, and everyone's pissed. I was going to go to the mayor's ball this year, and I was making my phone calls. And then when I found out, I'm like, no, don't do the switch and bait on us. So really, the crime has gone up in the Republican-led city of Dallas, Texas. I'm just saying. You know, once again, I think I discussed this the other day about, the Democrats just do a really poor job with messaging. This is a very small report that came out. It has not been plastered all over the news. We're picking it up because we want to, but we don't keep the same energy for positive news. And I think we have to do that in this election with so much misinformation out there. We have to now more than ever really highlight the wins that this administration has had, because the narrative is now, it might be too late, but people just believe it's just all, end of the world right now. And we're not really highlighting. And this has gone back to the Obama administration. He never really bragged about when things were positive on his watch. And we need to have that.
Yep.
So, I know that's true, but I'm thinking we should replace the What the Florida segment with What the Texas.
I mean, yeah.
What the Texas, you were in a close second, so it only makes sense.
Texas and Florida are neck and neck with the shenanigans, right? Carolina, our governor is a hot ass mess.
Hot mess.
Real quick, Governor Greg Abbott, Pat pushed for legislation to put a cap on people when they insurance claims, like get injured. And within a very short amount of time, he was jogging and a tree fell on him, and then he became injured. And I just want to say, karma it's just wow. Just wow.
A tree fell.
Wow. Yep. Wow. All right. Rolling on to the next topic. Speaking of frauds, a Florida woman was surprised to come home and discover that her driveway had been stolen. Yep. A week before the theft, an unsolicited contractor came by the woman's property to measure her driveway. The woman was likely a victim of an unusual scam. What's the craziest thing that you ever had stolen? And what do you think about this? Caroline, let's go to you first.
I don't think I've had anything stolen, but this just seems like, what kind of scam is this to steal somebody's
Concrete?
driveway?
Cement?
Cement. It doesn't make any sense to me. I watched the news report on it, and I still don't understand why somebody would do that. The poor thing is, she's already got a contract on her new house that she's going to move to. She's got 2 weeks to figure it out. She can't even afford the new driveway. Like, who would do, why or who? I don't understand. Maybe somebody was trying to outbid her on the next property. I don't know.
What do you think?
I think you hit the head. You hit the nail on the head, Carolina. I don't think that this is a scam. In fact, I think this is a bully intimidation tactic. I think everyone knows that if you don't have a concrete driveway, the value of your home goes down minimum of 10 to 15%, which is pushing her to change her sale price to lower. Because think about it. Now, you can sell crushed concrete, but it has to be crushed, it has to be screened, and then it has to be aggregated, and you only are allowed to get $15 a ton. This house right here looks like it may, I don't know where it is, but I'm just thinking it's in Florida. That house looks like it may be about what, a 150, Claudia? You're in the real estate. Where's KJ when we need him? I would say about 150, depending on where it is, it could be more. This hit on her will take her price down $20,000 to $30,000. It's Christmas. She doesn't have money to put that driveway back, so she's going to have to reduce her price to move that house because she's closing on another house. This is definitely not a scam. This is an intimidation tactic. Shame on them. And to be perfectly honest, we need to start a GoFundMe account for her so that she can raise enough money to get that sidewalk put back in so that the value of her home does not decrease.
It's amazing. It just amazes me, the minds of some humans, the things that they'll go through to avoid, to get over on somebody else, to steal from somebody else, to hurt somebody else, to lowball. And it's just horrible. She's a homeowner. She's trying to just like survive out here in these streets, and people just trash. I want the same karma that Governor Abbott had to come to you. Driveway. Whoever stole this, may no good come to you until you get your karma.
Let a tree fall on your head.
So it is done.
It's better than a cement truck.
Yeah.
So it's said, so it's done.
All right. A woman who went viral for flashing her breast during a college football game has been offered a webcam show deal worth up to $100,000. Why does society keep rewarding ratchet ass behavior like this, Carolina? The mother here, the wife.
We eat it up. We eat it up. That's the problem. Consumers consume. And where consumers be consuming, people be paying because they can get all the advertisements. People love all of the lewd acts. They are here for all sorts of ratchet behavior. I mean, we've seen it in so many careers take off, praising ratchet behavior. We're just here for it. And it's not going to go away. And now we're offering 6 figures for it. That's crazy.
Right.
So she just got to show her titties?
Probably.
Well, the beginning. So the owner of the streaming platform said that they see a lot of breasts. And Claudia, check this out. Real breasts are coming back. So in the porn world, so you got a second job. Listen, in the porn world, and if production put the picture back up, she has very big breasts, a little saggy, but they are real breasts. And he said that his audience would pay $100,000 to see her natural breasts. Now, this is the only warning that I have for her, young lady. The statistics show that women who start in this vein doing soft porn, like just showing their breasts or just doing regular pictures, over 50% end up doing hard porn. So think long and hard about that $100,000, because from what I understand, it's something about the response that they get that forces them deeper and deeper into the black hole.
I knew this
girl make more money.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
I knew this girl and I was kind of like being her mentor for a little while. And I guess I failed because she ended up doing porn. She was already on her way. And it was,
I mean, what's her net worth now? If her net worth is high, then it might be worth it. You mentored her.
Claudia, you're supposed to keep her off the pole.
she did it behind my back. And so it started with
Just like a parent, you gotta go shake the
I was busy with my own career. I told her listen, I'm not a good mentor. I'm too busy. If I'm your mentor, you might end up on the pole or doing porn. So anyway, I feel so bad because like, I never agree. You know when someone kind of gangsters you into it? I never agreed.
Right.
She's like, you're my mentor. I'm like, no, I'm not. And anyways, she ended up being like kind of like an escort and like doing like low end, like and doing, like honestly, she could have worked at a restaurant and made more money than when she was making in her. And it was like so sad and was so the story she would tell me, I would be like, please don't tell anybody I'm your mentor.
So she probably looked at you like this supermodel, you know, video vixen, like hot, you know, sex trot that she wanted to be like.
She wanted to be in music videos and
Right.
modeling, and she got modeling, but it was in the porn world. And I was like, sometimes you just got to accept that, like, if you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole and it's not fitting, maybe that career is not for you, but maybe you can be in the management side, or maybe you can be in accounting, just in the business, but not on camera. And she wasn't right for it. Cute girl, but I'm sorry to your mother.
Any camera.
Sorry if I failed. Don't nobody set that up with me. I don't want to be
Everybody, Claudia cannot be your mentor. Parents, keep your kids away from CJ.
I was popping. It was in the 2000s, early. All right, coming up next, we're talking all things hygiene. And later, a North Carolina minister took disrespect into his own hands. Keep it locked. We'll be right back. Sorry.
We got a few new phrases the kids are out there saying, and I want you to tell us what you think they mean.
McMillan and Mara.
Donald Duckin.
I went to graduate school.
Every Thursday.
To avoid terms like this.
And this is what my life has come to.
All right, next one.
Cambridge.
Okay, Mr. Harvard. Proxy beef.
Oh, I know what this is. This is when you don't have a problem directly with the person.
How did you know this?
Because I speak English. Proxy.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
I don't want to jump you, but you don't even qualify to speak on your so
fucking good.
TGIF, live and interactive.
I need to clear this up, y'all. You are one of the main ones trying to push the narrative that your girl can't cook. Al has been to my house. I can cook.
I'm finna test you out right here. What are acceptable types of smoked meat to put in the collard greens?
Turkey necks.
Oh,
don't do me.
On Fox Soul.
Don't you do me. Don't try it. Welcome back to TGIF. Once again, I'm so sorry. Okay. Take a look at this tweet. It says, give a hygiene tip. All right, y'all. Have you ever had to point out a friend or significant other's poor hygiene? Al, let's start with you.
So this is a serious question. I don't want the soulmates, especially the females, to be dragging me. This is a serious question. So there's no secret I enjoy a lot of sex. I just need to know, though, from you, Claudia, and Carolina, like, I've had to tell females, like, the Tootsie Cat is a little stanky, like, yeah. So I'm like, do they smell? Can you smell your own?
Let me ask you this: was this before or after you had sex? Like
it was before.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like and you know, it kind of like it's like lighting a fire when you're doing it, and then aroma goes.
You can absolutely smell your own vagina.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for it. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a woman's pH levels that don't come from being dirty. If you eat too much sugar, if you sometimes thong panties, if you're taking some kinds of medication or using the cheap hotel soap can throw up your pH levels. Why I was telling my friends, you use Dove soap. It doesn't irritate you. And that can throw up your levels where the good and the bad flora are thrown off, and it can smell quickly. You know immediately.
Like a garbage can.
It can smell like wet carpet and fish.
And if you can smell it, she can smell it. Like
I always thought like maybe because I had a librarian once that she used to pretend like she didn't smell it. And I was like, this whole library smells like a fish fry. So I'm like, maybe because it smells like that all the time, they become immune to the smell?
No, you never get immune.
Okay, got it.
I had a homegirl that stayed with me. I had a homegirl that stayed with me, and she smelled, and this was back in the late 90s, and we had to tell her, we had to have an intervention, a friend intervention, and tell her that we took her to the doctor. And I was like, there's no way you don't smell that. But let's just not put it on the ladies, because fellas, a lot of times we know you're cheating because your penis is carrying the bacterial vaginosis, and that is throwing off our pH levels. Or if you're messing around with multiple women or men, or if you try to put it in the booty and then go in the coochie, that is a no-no. Never, ever, ever, ever do that to a woman. You will throw off her pH levels.
Or you can wipe it off before.
No, it's no wiping off. It's a complete shower.
Or remove the condom.
See, Al, you probably don't cause the thing, the fish tank smell. You never know.
Did you say a fish tank smell?
Got our coochie smell like
Claudia is on one today.
I'm saying. But as far as hygiene, I was in a relationship with someone whose breath was really strong. And I kept making like comments like, have you ever had a cavity? And he was like, no, never. I'm like, it's impossible. Like, no, it's not true. You're lying.
Yes. Telling people to go to the dentist is like my little nudge. Like, hey, when's the last time you went to the dentist? Like, oh, I'm too scared. Like, no, don't be scared.
You got to go brush your teeth and drag your tongue while you at it. I can put up with a stanky Tootsie Cat, but I cannot put up with stanky breath. Sorry, that is a deal breaker right there. I promise you. Because halitosis, it takes a lot to get rid of halitosis. To clean a Tootsie Cat, you can like take some pills or something and do some douching or something, but that halitosis, no.
But just like what you asked if a woman can smell her coochie, why can't you smell your breath? Like right now when I'm talking, I smell the pasta that I had right before. Right? I smell, and you can taste your breath. The first thing in the morning, you're like, let me go brush my teeth and use mouthwash. You know this. And why do people with bad breath always be hitting them hard H's and them hard P's?
I gotta be honest though, Claudia, and we gotta go to the next topic. I gotta be honest. Like sometimes I can smell my breath, but sometimes I can't. Like I can't. Like even in the mornings, I gotta be honest. Sometimes in the mornings, I don't know how bad my breath smell until someone tells me.
That's why I'm very self-conscious. I always have gum in my mouth or mints because I never want to be that girl that they say, oh, her breath. So I always have gum first thing in the morning, and I brush, and you got to scrape that teeth, your tongue, and toothpicks. I always have a toothpick on me, like always in my vicinity.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Clean your Tootsie Cats, your booty hoes.
Period.
All right, a Chinese foreign exchange student is claiming to be a victim of cyber kidnapping. Police say cyber kidnapping is a new trend where victims are forced to convince their families they've been kidnapped for ransom. In some cases, the scammers will tell the victims to isolate themselves and send voice recordings or photos to their families. Oh my God, like The world is getting so crazy. What are your thoughts on this crazy new crime trend? Alex, go to you first.
I mean, I think it's insane, but I will say this, all those out there, it comes from social media. A lot of this comes from social media. These scammers are out there trolling your social media, seeing if you or your family has money, and that's what makes you a target. Did you see the pictures, Carolina and Claudia, when they found this young man? The scammers had talked him into going into the woods. He had a tent, though. He's funny. You know he got money. He had like a double wide tent. It was beautiful. It was probably one of the most expensive hiking tents you've ever seen. And he was inside the tent. When the officers showed up, they knocked on the tent door and they were like, "Excuse me, sir."
I mean, but that's what's wild to me is that nobody physically was ever with him.
Right.
That is what's crazy about this cyber crime is that they are able to infiltrate your psyche and convince you just via messages on both ends. Like they were attacking his family and him at the same time. And they instructed him to pretend that he was being kidnapped in the woods. Like at some point, I feel like logic needs to step in and you'd be like, why am I going to voluntarily go to the woods? No one's taking me with a gun to my head or a knife to my back. Like, I don't know.
I agree. And to the
I feel
point
like
where
people are all vulnerable and they don't have common sense, but
I think for the scammers, thank God they don't have common sense in a way, because they wouldn't be able to scam them if they did. This young man went out and got a $300 tent to go hide himself. I am done. That means you went down to the hunting store, purchased a tent because they were like, "We're gonna get you." And then you camped out 2 hours into the forest, pitched the tent, got in the tent and didn't move. I'm done.
I'm gonna say this.
He's behind it.
The world, I'm just gonna say it. The world is getting so damn stupid and dumb. Like, listen, all this, I didn't know. My mind, it was manipulated. You go buy a tent and hide and help the scammers. At some point, you're just stupid.
Stupid.
You're dumb.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you call your mom and say, "Mom, I'm told that they're gonna kill me if you don't pay me"? Like, what? Why wouldn't you? And even if they're monitoring your phone, why wouldn't you text your mom or your dad? Why wouldn't you email them? Why wouldn't you just walk into the police station? Like, duh.
It's giving you are in on it.
Right. That's what I'm during this conversation. I'm like, maybe he set them up.
Don't call my parents.
His family didn't know. His host family was like, he wasn't kidnapped. He was just here this afternoon.
All right. Hey, you gotta be careful with that, because
Carolina.
Don't call my parents. You won't get nothing. First of all, they're not internet savvy, and they would probably be like, "Oh well."
Don't put that info out there, Claudia.
We ain't got it.
My parents, if they were alive, would too. We ain't got it. Get in line. You get the second lesson.
She had a nice life.
Take her.
I've been trying to get rid of him for years.
Right. Oh, well. All right, keep it locked, because coming up next, a North Carolina minister takes disrespect into his own hands. And later, we're playing a game of Guess Which Set. Keep it locked. We'll be back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
What's going on, Claudia?
I'm in the White House, and if I'm not on the show tomorrow, then something happened.
You in prison.
TGIF.
Listen to what you just said. You are broadcasting your show from the White House. If that is not the hope and the dream of the slaves, then I do not know what is.
Live and interactive.
I just met the White House press secretary, and she knows me, and I think she knows me from T. I said, I have to go broadcast. She goes, "Oh, that's right, you're live." And I'm like, "You know about us."
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to the show. All right, y'all. A minister in North Carolina allegedly tried to force a McDonald's employee's head into the deep fryer for disrespecting his wife. It's unclear what exactly the employee said to the minister's wife before the altercation took place. All right, y'all. I mean, I got to ask this question. Do you think a minister should be behaving this way? And is there anything that someone could do to your spouse that would make you want to stick their head into a fryer, Carolina?
It sounds like it was a verbal disrespect. Like, no. Why are we gonna? It's given Will Smith. It's no. No, why? Trying to baptize him and frying oil? No. I would be questioning what the hell's wrong with my husband if he took matters that far. That is absolutely ridiculous. And from a minister, even worse.
That's right. All right, Al, what would you do?
Well, Carolina.
Not the wow.
Well, Carolina, you're all cute and everything over there.
What?
No, but this is my
There goes a demonic take. I can feel it. I can feel the demons coming out of that Kappa jacket right now.
The views of Al Reynolds are not the views of Kappa Alpha Psi. Let me say that. No, in this particular case, like, honestly, I just feel like for him to come down to her job, she called him because she was having a problem with an employee. For him to come down to that job, I think it was something really bad. That's number one. For a pastor to come down to the job and exhibit such rage like that, somebody completely disrespected his wife. That's what I believe, number one. But just in general, and I'm just being frank about it, a lot of pastors and the first ladies, and I know Claudia doesn't attend a lot of church. I grew up in the church. They are like that particular town or that particular cities. They're celebrities. And they're constantly scrutinized. They're constantly talked about. They constantly have to be friendly when they don't want to be friendly. They have to always carry themselves a certain kind of way. And I think that pressure alone can lead for some of them, when disrespected past their boundary, to flip the freak out. Now, I'm definitely not in support of him dipping anybody's head in the fryer. I'm not. But I can see why some of the pressure can cause him to behave irrationally. And in this particular case, I think this happened. And this happened in High Point. Isn't that where Fantasia's from?
I think so.
Yeah.
So this was her job, right?
Wait, so she was
a manager in training. Mm-hmm.
Manager in training at the fast food restaurant where the air fryer is, but they were celebrity in their town.
No, I'm saying she's a first lady. First ladies, just like pastors, first ladies, they work. Like he was a truck driver. He's a truck driver and a minister. That's very common in the South.
Okay.
All right, Carolina, you caught my tea. You caught my shade.
I did.
I never am gonna let Claudia talk crap about my Christian folks. So.
A Christian. Okay, let's talk about your Christian who tried to bob this man's head for apples in a hot thing of grease.
Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're not human.
Well, just because I'm not a Christian like that don't mean I can't call out their hypocrisy.
I never said you couldn't. That's
attempted murder, Al Reynolds.
No, he didn't try to murder him. He just wanted to deep fry him. Like make him golden brown a little bit. That's not murder. Just tan him up a little bit.
God, you know what? I cannot with Christians. And I'm actually a Christian, believe it or not. I grew up in a Christian church. I was baptized, and I also went to Sunday school, and I made.
Hey, look! It did work, and your mentoring isn't working.
I'm a good. You know what? Jesus surrounded himself with all
kinds
of people.
Your whole community failed you.
I know Mr. Sex Party ain't talking. Group sex. stinky vagina boy. ain't
Baby, that whole church, that whole village, they all should be taken to jail.
Oh my God.
All right, y'all. Moving on. Check out this tweet. It says, "What's a common downfall of friendships?" Carolina, let's start with you.
Oof. I feel like some friends are just for a season because they just grow in different directions. I have a friend or a former friend that I'm thinking about where we were very close for maybe like 2 years, and then it's just we're growing in very different paths. So I don't think that's the most common one, but that's the one that I relate to the most. And the other is, when it's one-sided, when someone's constantly reaching out and the other one just isn't returning that same energy, I feel like that's when you're like, is this even worth my time reaching out to you anymore? I feel like that's probably the most common.
Okay, Al, what are your thoughts?
I think for men, we may call it being competitive and competitiveness. At the end of the day, though, I think it's all jealousy. I think it's jealousy. I think there's an ebb and flow in people's lives. Sometimes people are up, they're higher than you. Sometimes they're lower than you. When they're higher than you, from a man's perspective, you're not doing enough or you're not good enough. So, you want to like check them. That's been my personal experience with it. So, but at the end of the day, I think jealousy is what is the downfall to a lot of friendships. People look at you and think that you got things easier. People look at you and want to know why you're there and not them sometimes. And that causes dissension, and it causes for you to like go your separate ways.
And I think those are not your friends, because you should be celebrating your friends wins on the rooftops. Because if you have that kind of attitude, it usually comes around to you. My issues with friends have been just kind of like what Carolina said, just being off kilter. One person putting a little bit more into it than the other. And I'm big on you not doing something to me that I would never do. You doing something to me that I would never do to you. It's very hard for me to get over that. And I've had that before, and it's kind of heartbreaking because you kind of feel like it's like an equal friendship, and then you feel like, damn, did I love you more than you love me? And that really hurts my feelings. I definitely have issues with that, and it's kind of heartbreaking when you like, I love this person. Damn, I would never do you like that. How you do me like that? Yeah. All right, coming up, join us for a game of Guess What Set. It's a new game we're going to try out here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
We got a few new phrases the kids are out there saying, and I want you to tell us what you think they mean.
McMillan and Mara.
Donald Duckin.
I went to graduate school.
Every Thursday.
To avoid terms like this.
And this is what my life has come to.
All right, next one.
Cambridge.
Okay, Mr. Harvard. Proxy beef.
Oh, I know what this is. This is when you don't have a problem directly with the person.
How did you know this?
Because I speak English. Proxy.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back to the show. All right, y'all. Some of our major sitcoms from back in the day were set in some recognizable living rooms. Let's put our memory to the test in a game of Guess Which Set. It's giving 70s game show, isn't it? All right, y'all, let's cue the music. Take a look at this first set. Raven Simone made her acting debut on this sitcom. Can you
Cosby
guess?
Show.
Cosby Show.
All right. I believe you're right. The Cosby Show. Up next, this show was initially going to be called House of Comics. Can you guess which set?
Full House with the twins.
That is Full House.
Yeah, because look at the bookshelf in the back.
There it is, Full House. Woo, those twins did not age well. All right, coming up next, R&B group Take 6 performed the theme song.
My
Gina!
Gina! Colleen said, you ain't gonna beat me on this one. I got this one. All right, up next, this sitcom's main character recently slapped Chris Rock.
Oh, I talked about this earlier. Yeah.
What is in that? Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, okay. Next, this sitcom racked up 68 Emmy nominations. Oh, I know this one.
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
It's
I
that Miami.
I thought it was Married with Children. All right, up next. This show is a remake based on a UK series.
Three's Company. Come on, Jack. Run through the door.
That's right. All right, Meghan Markle's father was a DP on this show. Married with Children, no?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
I got
good,
one.
Claudia. That's a good one. I had no idea.
I love that show. All right, this one is the longest running African-American focused sitcom.
Oh, it's got to be Family Matters.
Family Matters.
All right. Now, this show was canceled after the show's star posted a racist tweet.
Roseanne.
Man, I used to like her too. She's so stank now. All right. Last but not least, Frank Sinatra made a guest appearance on this show.
Is that Archie Bunker?
All in the Family?
It looks familiar, but I can't tell you.
Archie?
Who's the boss? Who's the boss? Who's the boss?
Oh, wow. That used to be such a good show.
Right, that was a fun little segment.
Yeah, that was.
Good job. All right, let's get back to some fun topics. All right, we covered so many crazy stories this year, so we'd like to end our show by handing out an award to a person who exemplifies pure delusion. This is our Teabag of the week. Our Teabag of the week goes to Jeffrey Epstein. As we know, the list of everyone else involved will be released later this month. I don't know why they keep playing with us and making us wait. Just release the hounds and the Kraken. What do you have to say about our honorary Teabag of the week? Alex, go to you first.
Oh, this Teabag is such a Teabag. He's below a Teabag. Like he should be Teabag of the year. Anybody that's molesting underage girls, I'm a pass to Carolina on this.
Yeah, it definitely Teabag of the last couple years. But it's a Teabag that just keeps giving because we keep finding out more and more. I just want to know the other Teabags that are associated with that Teabag is what I'm trying to find out.
Well, they said Naomi Campbell and Michael Jackson and Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, and the list is growing and growing and growing.
You know, I mentioned this before on a show. I used to ask my mom when I was younger, are there more bad people in the world than good? And I'm sorry, but these last few years have given me a little bit of less faith in humanity. You know, the fact that so many people that have means and have the world at their fingertips would choose to find sexual gratification in children, in trafficking women against their will, and trafficking boys, everything. There's so many, life shouldn't be this disgusting, you know? And I just hate that we have so many people that are okay with their pleasure at the expense and pain of somebody else, never mind a child, you know?
You know, Claudia, it's interesting that you said that because one of the things or the issues that I had about working on Wall Street is we made a lot of money, but we took advantage of a lot of people. And it was commonplace. It was so common. No one lost sleep. I think I was probably the only one that was losing sleep over that type of stuff. So I think money really makes people do weird things.
Well, if you really feel so bad about it, Al, and being the good Christian man that you are, our very own Carolina here has expressed this week that she would like, so you can make a donation to her Zelle or her PayPal.
I'll make many recommendations on mortgage brokers that you could use, moving companies that you could use. I got top of the line, everybody for you, baby. Not a problem.
He said, not me, girl.
Not me, girl.
All right. Really fun time. I hope you guys have a really safe and fun weekend and have a good time. Carolina, thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us this week. We really appreciate you, and I hope things get better for you. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Thank you, Al. Great job. Happy Founders Day. And stick around for Street Flavor. We'll see you next week.